Hi everyone, this is Dain at Peking University. Today I would like to share our work, SentiBERT, a transferable transformer-based architecture for compositional sentiment semantics. This is a joint work with Meng and Kai-Wei Chang at UCLA. Sentiment analysis is an important task in NLP. One of the key challenges in sentiment analysis is to model the compositional sentiment semantics. Take the sentence "frenetic but not really funny" as an example. The sentiments of frenetic and really funny are both positive. However, the word not changes the sentiment of the phrase really funny, and the conjunction word but combines these two parts of the sentence. So it's very challenging for a machine to understand these compositions of semantics. Several prior studies model compositional sentiment semantics with recursive neural networks. These models generate representations recursively based on a binary sentiment parse tree. However, these models overlook the rich association in context and only model the sentiment of each constituency based on the local information from the children in the parse tree. On the other hand, recent popular transformer-based contextualized encoder does not explicitly model the compositional semantics, so these inspire us to study how to encode sentiment composition in a contextual encoder and bridge these two families of approaches to better capture the compositional sentiment semantics. Besides, we are also curious about whether the semantic composition learned from one sentiment dataset, like SST, can be transferred to other tasks. SentiBERT consists of three modules. The first module is a standard BERT module that generates contextualized representation of input sentence. The second module is an attention encoder to generate representation of constituencies in binary sentiment parse tree. The design is inspired by recursive neural networks, and I will give you more details in the next slide. And the last module is a simple classifier to take the representation of each phrase and predict its phrase-level sentiment label. Specifically, the attention network in the second module consists of two layers. The first attention layer generates phrase representation by capturing the semantics of the token it covers. In particular, the phrase representation is a linear combination of the token vectors it covers, and the weights are derived from the attention mechanism. In the second layer, we refine these phrase representations obtained from the first layers based on the constituency parsing tree. Another attention layer is used to generate the phrase representation based on its children's representation coming from the first layer. It allows the model to aggregate the sentiment information based on the hierarchical structure. To train the SentiBERT, we consider a learning objective that consists of two components: masked language modeling and phrase node prediction. The first part is similar to BERT, that we mask out part of the sentence and request the models to predict the missing parts. This allows the model to capture the context information. And the second part requests the SentiBERT to learn to predict the phrase-level sentiment labels based on the phrase representations. This allows the SentiBERT to learn to capture the compositional sentiment semantics. And after training on a corpus with the phrase-level sentiment labels like SST, SentiBERT can be fine-tuned on other tasks. Then we conduct experiments under two settings. In the first setting, we evaluate SentiBERT under supervised learning proposal to show that the model is able to capture the compositionality of sentiment labels. And specifically, we conduct experiments on SST phrase, a 5-class phrase-level sentiment classification task that requires to predict the sentiment of all the phrases on the binary constituency tree. We also evaluate the sentiment of the root node, which represents the sentiment of the whole sentence. And in the second setting, we evaluate the transferability of SentiBERT and demonstrate that the compositional sentiment semantics learned on SST can be transferred to other related tasks, such as emotion classification. We first compare SentiBERT with the baseline BERT models on SST phrase and SST5. The results show that SentiBERT and SentiBERT with Roberta outperform the vanilla BERT and Roberta, indicating the importance of incorporating syntactic guidance. SentiBERT and SentiBERT with Roberta is also competitive with their corresponding variants, such as BERT with TreeLSTM, showing that our proposed attention networks over the tree is also good at composition. We then evaluate SentiBERT for transferability. We first pre-train the models on SST and then fine-tune them on the downstream tasks, such as emotion classification datasets. We show that SentiBERT outperforms the baseline BERT and Roberta models. This justifies that SentiBERT leverages the compositional semantics information and improves the downstream tasks. And next, we analyze the effectiveness of the SentiBERT in terms of capturing the compositional semantic compositionality. In particular, we would like to see how well the model can handle the situations when the sentiment of the parent node is different from his children. For example, as shown in the red boxes, the parent has different sentiment from the children. The more the sentiment switches, the harder the instance is. We further define local difficulty as the number of sentiment switches between a phrase and its children, and the maximal number is 2, as we consider a binary sentiment tree. And we also define global difficulty as the total number of sentiment switches in the entire constituency tree. We compare SentiBERT with various variants of the BERT model, including incorporating GCN and TreeLSTM with BERT. We show the difference in accuracy from the baseline BERT model in the y-axis, along with the different levels of local and global difficulty. Actually, our SentiBERT has 2 levels of attentions, and the orange line is the performance of SentiBERT with only the first level of attention. It already outperforms all the other approaches, and with the full model, SentiBERT achieves significantly better results, especially when the difficulty is very high. In particular, in the most challenging situations, SentiBERT outperforms the BERT by nearly 15%, justifying our architecture design. More results like the performance when dealing with the negation and contrastive relations can be seen in the paper. Then we showcase one example in the paper to demonstrate how SentiBERT performs the sentiment semantic composition. Here, we demonstrate that the sentiment assignment and the attention weights used to derive the phrase representation. SentiBERT predicts all the phrase labels correctly, and we observe that it attends to adjectives with sentiment such as frenetic and funny when generating generating the representation of their parents. Moreover, when combining the two parts of sentence with a conjunction word but, the model attends more on the second part and derives the correct sentiment of the whole sentence. So in conclusion, we present SentiBERT to better capture the compositional sentiment semantics. From experimental results, we also observed that SentiBERT can transfer the compositional sentiment semantics learned on the SST to other downstream tasks. So if you are interested in our work, please feel free to contact me. Thanks for listening.